Oh my God. I've just come up with the name for the movie, for the story of my life, the Debbie Callahan story. I'm going to call my movie The College Years because that's what I call this phase of my training. The college years. Since, like, since 3 years ago when my ex tried to kill me that night in June, when he put the cocaine in my pizza and blah, blah, blah. Me having to leave home. I mean, technically, when I left New Zealand, I went away to college because Great Britain pretty much was my greatest teacher. One of my teachers being Queen Elizabeth II and Princess Diana, and even like Margaret Thatcher, all mums. St. Joan of Arc, all strong women. Mary Seacole, these are all women. Boudica, these are all women that created the woman that I am right now. I wouldn't be what I am right now if I hadn't left New Zealand. So technically, I've been like in school since I left the UK. I left for the UK, but my graduation, my college years, stepping out of the watchful eye of the people that had been sent here to raise me, so to speak, whether that was for good or for worse, depends on which branch of my story you want to look at, which is the most important to put in the story. But Great Britain raised me, but none more so than the last 3 years. This has been my hardest lesson. It's been hard. It's been the hardest part of every point in my life, every country I've lived in, every country I've stepped foot in, every person I've come across, like since the moment I was conceived. I've been having to learn and take it all in. And it's been hard. I had to fight for my own conception. But the hardest part's been over the last 3 years because I was separated from my sons. But I just realised today that while we've been apart, and even my son Gabriel said it made us. This time apart, it made us. We had to learn to fight and stand on our own 2 feet so that when we came together, we'd be a stronger unit. And he was absolutely right. And they've been going off and learning like weapons training and, like military strategy and leadership skills with their friends and role playing like war strategies and going to the gym and working out without even realizing it, whether they realize it or not, on a subconscious level and a conscious level, that they're getting ready for what's coming next for us. It's like they see the shift, so they're getting themselves in position because they know what's coming, because I raised them to know about the prophecy. I've been training them for this moment their entire lives, and they're starting to see everything is coming into land, so to speak. The manifestations, the prophecies, my word, everything I said is all starting to come into land, and they're getting themselves into position. And they did it that night when my ex tried to kill me. When Gabriel got the crowbar and Thomas took the knife and crowbar up to the room, and then when he came back to the house and Gabriel confronted him in the hallway with the crowbar, and that was the night they got themselves into position. But they were babies. But they're not anymore. They're proper hardcore men. One of them is nearly 6'7", and he has zero tolerance for injustice, and he has an incredible mind, a diplomatic and philosophical mind. He's the one from a very, very young age taught me psychology, and he is the one that taught me how to quote unquote play the game. and he's 16. And he is to the death, and I mean to the death, protective of his mama. Gabriel is nearly 6 foot. He's almost as tall as me. By the end of the year, he will be taller than me. And he is built like a brick poop house. He's got a small waist. He's got a massive chest. He's got very, very broad shoulders and very muscly arms. He was born with pecs. He was literally born with pecs. I'm not even joking. It is documented in a lot of things where my newborn baby was born with pectoral muscles. When I had a scan with him, she put the thing on and all I heard was, bloody hell, look at the size of those thighs. She said, he's got thunder thighs. Well, that baby's got thunder thighs because we didn't know if he was a boy or a girl. He wouldn't tell us until my very last scan. He was quite rude. But he has zero tolerance for people who play games. He will back you up, even if he doesn't agree with you. He will back you up because loyalty is everything to him. And he's not interested in getting involved, but he's happy to watch from the sidelines because he feels this overwhelming need to protect his sibling that I'm going to have. I say sibling because, I mean, I want a daughter, but if God says to me, no, you need to have a son, then so be it. So now I'm saying sibling, but I'm hoping daughter because I need to teach my cooking and that, how to put formulas and that together to my daughter. I need a daughter. Otherwise, what I am dies with me. My boys can do so much, but they can't do everything. So I need to pass on I need to pass this on to my daughter. Otherwise, I have to wait until my boys decide to have kids and then teach it to my granddaughters, if they have any daughters, and I might be like a gajillion years old by then. And I might be all dottery and like be the sort of woman that has like 1,000 million animals and like argues with tree squirrels. I mean, probably. I won't be Debbie Doolittle anymore. I'll be Debbie Doolally. Debbie Delulu. But oh my God, my life. I mean, you can't. If we never made anything else, we need to make the movie of the story of my life. It'll be kind of like Bridget Jones, but what would you call it? Maybe like a black comedy, or I mean, it would be a comedy. It could even be a friggin' musical, but Billy Elliot and Full Monty kind of stuff. But all the commitments. See, we gotta start making movies like this again. It's gonna be like a cross between Bridget Jones meets 28 Days Later. But it has to be the college years, because since he did what he did that night, it's been the biggest lesson of my life, and I've had to learn like how to stand up and fight for myself. I had to go to law school. I had to go to medical school. I had to go to like forensics classes and like police training and psychology classes, and I had to learn friggin' physics and all of that. God damn it. Like, I had to teach myself all this stuff and create like a whole science out of it in order to get to this point right now that I could strike the lightning down on all the people that have just threatened Vladimir Putin. It's been so much fun. And of course, I've had to live like a college student, like I'm at uni. And my bedroom is basically my apartment, because even though I live in a flat, I share my house with boys. I don't go into the living room because that's my boys' room, and we're like ships that pass in the night. We basically meet at the kitchen for food, and then they go off and do their thing, and I go off and do mine, and we're just like, we're living like students. And like, I have to, like, I'm broke, and I have to live like a student. I have to make every penny count, and and while I'm studying and learning and training, and or getting ready for graduation day, which I'm pretty sure is today. I'm living like a student. So I graduated with honours, I think, after the stunt I just pulled off. So we have to call it the college years, the Debbie Callahan story. And it's like I keep saying, Dame Judi Dench and Julie Walters, oh my God, I have to have them in my movie. Nothing can happen to them until this movie is made, God willing. May they live for like 150 years. But they have to play my neighbours. Even if it's just like a small role. And then the flat that I'm in might get blue plaqued one day. That would be so funny. I would love that. So hardcore. This is where Debbie and the Queen saved King Charles and prevented World War III. And her undies eating toast. The college years. That's when you protest and become anti-authoritarian, and so I have to call it the college years. It's been the greatest experience of my life overall. Obviously, next to having my boys and being a mum, my college years have been the greatest experience of my life, and I wouldn't change a single thing. I wouldn't change a single thing. And I mean, the thing is, I'm always going to have the pain in my stomach now. Like, it's never, ever, ever going to go away. I'm stuck with that for the rest of my life. Which is why I'm going to have to live in a country where weed is legal. Because I can't run out. Because when I'm not in pain, my magic is crystal clear. But it's never going to go away, and it's always going to be a reminder to keep me humble so that I never ever make the same mistakes in my life again as the ones that I made in trusting the wrong people and not listening to my intuition and ignoring all the red flags and allowing people to get into my head and dictate my life and try and tell me that I'm someone that I'm not, and try and tell me that they think they know me better because somebody said something or they read something online, or because they just decided they didn't like me because I threatened their mere existence, because I questioned something they said. It taught me to stand up for myself. It taught me to find my voice. It taught me how to, once I got patience, I found peace because I was making better decisions in my life, and I started distancing myself from the people who were becoming toxic or hiding their toxicity. It's always my fault as to why they push me away. and I don't stand for it, and I don't play emotional games. See, whereas before, people pulling on the heartstrings and that sort of thing would have made me go against my initial first instinct, and that's when you get led down the wrong path because you miss the first red flag. Never ever ever miss the first red flag. If someone says something, or you see something, or you hear something, or you know something that is nagging at the core of your gut, and then your head keeps saying, do something, say something, did I just see what I thought I just saw? Though, when your mind starts questioning what your gut is feeling and it keeps nagging at you, that is your conscious mind telling you to pay attention. That is the first red flag. The second it hits you in the gut, that is your first red flag. And if you start ignoring that, eventually what happens is you become numb to the signals, and you block out the signals because the negative part of what has been fed into you starts changing the way you think and the way you see yourself, and you start questioning what you saw, or what you're feeling, or oh, maybe I was overreacting, or oh, maybe I'm just being paranoid, or maybe it is me, or like that sort of thing. When it's nagging at you and you can't get it off you, that is a red flag. And if you start ignoring those, it drags you further and further and further and further down. And then that's when you end up in the underworld, because then what's happened is you've been weighed down by the burdens of other people's negativity, that you've allowed them to drag you down into the underworld. You gave them permission to do it. You allowed them to control the way that you think and the way you feel. And that's when it becomes dangerous. It is better to have no friends at all. In fact, if that ever happens, and it does happen when you ascend, you will lose every single person in your life, even people that you would have bet money on absolutely having your back. You will lose everybody. You will be left with a couple of people who might not even necessarily believe you at first, but they're loyal to you. So they stick around and they fight in your corner because they know who you really are. And they're the people that you spend the rest of your life being dedicated and loyal to. In return, you stick with the people who stuck with you from the beginning. And for me, that was my sister Erin and my 2 sons. And when this is over, I'm going to retire that woman, and she's not going to want for a single thing. And I'm going to literally give her a job where all she has to do is shop and put fashion together. That's it. She's going to dress me. She's going to help me design my clothing range. She's going to help me design Brahena Saithusa's gowns and that. She's going to run the style department. We're also going to go into business together where on the grounds of where I build, we're going to have like a whare, like a house for terminally ill people. We're terminally ill people. We're going to open our doors to like veterans and that. And yeah, where terminally ill people can come and spend out their days in our cottage, and their family can come and, live there with them. We're going to do it like the way Māori people do it. They can have the tangi there after they die. I'll have to obviously have a good relationship with the local funeral directors and all that sort of thing. And then if they want to choose to be buried in our graveyard or our cemetery, if I build a little chapel, they can be buried there. So their family, the family won't have to take them far. And my sister and I have got the same vision for the cottage. It's going to be like a little English cottage, because she's a nurse for terminally ill people with dementia. And what she doesn't know about this stuff isn't worth knowing. She knows how to make them comfortable and, their diet and, so she's going to basically run that from the comfort of her own home. And if she wants to immigrate to, I've invited her to wherever it is that we move to. I've invited her to come and try living with us for a year. Like, get her a nice place, her and her boys, because her son, my nephew Jacob, is going to run my comic book department. My Beyond Life program, my comic books for my inmate comic book program. My nephew's going to run it because, again, what he doesn't know about comics isn't worth knowing. And he said he'll do it as long as I get to send him to all the comic book conventions. And I said, not only will I do that, Baba, but I will also send you to the toy conventions as well. And he was like, oh my God. So, yeah, so he'll get to promote our comics, and he's going to be the editor and put the stories together and make sure that, like, the art and everything suits the writing and all of that. So my nephew Zion, we haven't really talked about it, but I think he would just be up for the travel. But whatever he wanted to get involved in, if we were offering anything that he thought was interesting, he's got a job. If not, he can stay in New Zealand and live his own life, but either way, he's not going to have to worry about anything, because I have the backs of the people that had me, because I learned so much about how I spent so much years of my life being nice to people who didn't earn my respect. They weren't. I forgave so much in people who accused me of some of the most horrendous things that a human being could be accused of. And these were people that used to look me straight in the eye and tell me they loved me. Your family's got your back, and your family, you have each other's back, and all of that. No, not my family. My sister Erin, yes. My nephew Jacob and Zion, yes. They've never left my side, just like my boys. And they're the ones that'll be coming forward with me. They're the only people where I will make sure that they want for nothing. Because in my college years, I learnt the biggest and hardest lessons of my life. But again, I wouldn't change a single thing, because now that I know what's coming, I only want to take the people with me who are worthy of sharing in the bounty of my harvest. And that's my sister Erin, my two nephews, and my two sons. My niece Amber and I have mended bridges, and I'm going to go home and see her, and whatever she needs, she's not going to have to want for anything either. I want to make her time here as enjoyable and memorable and comfortable as possible. And if we can, if it is absolutely possible, if there's anywhere in the world that she wants to go, I'm going to send her there. If there's any doctors in the world that think they can help her, or anyone in the world that think they can help her, I'm going to send her there. And if we can't get her there, I'll get them to her. So I have a story to tell, and it is one of heartache, it is one of joy, it is one of paranormal, supernatural, occult horror. It is one of joy, it is one of laughter, it is one of tears, it is one of sorrow, it is one of fear, it is one of abandonment, it is one of salvation, It is one of hope. It is one of faith. It is one of salvation. It's one of salvation. It's one of survival. It's one of triumph. It's one of victory. And it's one of mine. Just one of my stories to tell. And I'm going to call it the college years. And I don't know who's going to play me, but if I can get Lucy Lawless to play me at some point, that would be awesome. Because my farewell party, when I came to the UK, it was me dressed as her. A really fat, didn't have a lot of money to put a costume together, version of her. I'll put it in the thumbnail. Oh my God, she's the reason why I dyed my hair black. And I don't even think she had black hair. I think it was brown. But she's a Kiwi. She's tall, like, you know, and my original name, when I met the boy's father, when I met the devil in disguise, Count Thongula, my name was Kinda Zena. People used to say to me, I look kind of like Zena. I think they were just being nice. Like, you know how people fake be nice and give you fake compliments, but that was the start of my Delulu. Clearly I don't look anything like Lucy Lawless. Oh, gosh. Oh. It's definitely going to be a comedy. People are going to be angry 1 minute, laughing the next, crying, sitting with their mouths open, their eyes wide open in shock. They'll be like hiding behind the chairs in the cinema. Girlfriends will be hiding under their boyfriend's arms. People will be hugging each other. People will walk out of the cinema like, what the hell was that? That can't be real. That can't be a real person's life. It says it was a true story. It's going to be 100% accurate. Oh my God, I yell at President Putin. Oh, the college years. Oh my God. Wearing jumpers and dressing gowns and 2 pairs of socks and having like 19 blankets on the bed because I can't afford to put the heating on. Oh, Lord. Having to turn £1 into like 9 meals. The college years. Oh my God, I've had the best time of my life. My entire life trained me for the last 3 years. Thankfully, I already knew how to wash clothes in the shower. If I had a river, I'd be saving money on detergent. Oh my God. Oh God, I've got my breakfast sitting here and I'm starving. So I'm going to go. I'm going to find the photo of me dressed as Zena Delulu. And I'll use it for the thumbnail and then put it in the description box as well. Oh my God, I'm having the greatest time. The college years, the David Callahan story.